To get started today, we're going to do the arm circle. So lifting up, around, and then bringing them back out in front of you. Remember to sit nice and tall on the ball. And when you lift the arms up, you don't want the shoulders raising up. You want the shoulder blades sliding down the back, pulling the belly button in towards the spine, and just getting a big range right up and around and then over. Changing directions. Remember, every direction has a different feeling. So if this side is clicking in the shoulders, decrease the circle size. Maintain that little position forward with your bum on the ball, and then just keep the neck nice and still. Seated side stretch, lifting the arm up, and then reaching up and over. And then an exhale to return. So you breathe in to lift, you breathe out to stretch over, and then slowly coming back up to sit nice and tall. The bum mustn't move, and this is what makes it tough, because the ball is going to want to move as you stretch over. So make sure the feet are into the ground, make sure the legs aren't moving, keep the core very strong, pull the belly button very tight, and then just slide that arm as far as you can go without lifting the opposite hip. So if I go over there, we're not going to lift the opposite hip. Very still and stable on the ball. Seated slightly forward, rolling partway back, and then coming all the way up to sitting nice and tall. I'm looking for a rounded lower back, a belly button pulled in nice and tight. Keep the neck still and just think of nice long arms out in front. Remember, the ball is coming underneath you to support your lower back. And I don't want you to move the feet. Try and keep the knees nice and steady, and it's just pulling the ball under from the core, pulling the ball under from your belly button nice and tight. Exhale on the way back, inhale to pause, exhale on the way up. Remember to come up and sit nice and tall all the way through the back. Let's do some fun bounces. So bum a little bit forward on that ball, not in the middle. Knees bent at 90, arms nice and straight, and just regular breathing. Sit the body nice and tall, and then slowly start to vary the arms. So we're going to go open, close, inhale on the open, and exhale on the close. Keep the bounces small and controlled. You want the ball to stay in the same place. When you open the arms, think nice and wide across the chest. Shoulder blades down the back, belly button nice and tight. And then just slowly start to lift them up and then bring them back out in front of you. Inhale on the left, exhale on the lower. Remember to keep that rhythm exactly the same as when you started. Try not to go quicker and quicker and quicker. Okay, so stable. Half roll back on the mat, bending the knees, rolling the ball down the thighs, and then slowly rolling back up. If your lower back is tight, please place a little cushion underneath that lower back or roll up a towel. My elbows are bent there. I'm sliding the ball through my hands, relaxing through the shoulders, not using the neck, keeping the feet very low. If you cannot feel the mat at partway back, you need to use that cushion to give you that extra core connection, that extra belly button to spine. The ball makes it quite difficult to roll back up because it's slightly higher in weight. You've got an additional prop to what you would usually have with your own body weight. If you're struggling with this, leave the ball, put it to the side, and just practice that half or that part way roll down and then slowly coming back up. Shoulder blades on the ball, arms nice and straight, good bridge position, lowering the bum and then lifting the bum. I'm not lifting very high here. It's a very short lower and lift. Control the lower back. You will feel this quicker in the lower back than your bum if you haven't got the control. So belly button pulled in tight, ribs down, Breathe out as you lift. Push the feet solidly into the ground as you lift. Ball still. We have 2 sets of abdominals here, reaching out nice and long for the single leg stretch. The most important part is keeping the hips still. So although this might seem easy at first, if you add the breathing, the exhale on the way out and the inhale on the way in, and keep the hips very still, it is actually a tough exercise to get through. Changing sides. As you stretch that leg nice and straight, remember the arms are long. The neck is not taking any strain. If you need a cushion underneath the head, then you must use one. If you want to do the exercise without the ball, that is also an option. Exhale when you lengthen. Inhale when you come back towards you. The double leg stretch is also a wonderful exercise. So we're reaching out, you've got the stability of the ball, but you're also getting into that lower belly button to spine. We are in an imprint, which means your hips are tilted towards your ribs and you're keeping that connection as you stretch the legs out to straight. Placing the ball between the legs, make sure you've got a good grip with the feet on the ball and with the calves. Lifting it up in an imprint and on an exhale. We need the exhale to flatten the belly button to lift the ball up, otherwise it'll go straight into the lower back and we don't want that. Arms nice and straight at about a 45-degree angle, relax the neck, take that long breath out as you lift, and then breath in to lower. If you want to do this slower than me, that's perfectly fine. Cobra is a basic back extension, placing the chest, the belly button, and the hips on the ball. Exhale on the lift, slide the shoulders back, keep your hands down, and point your elbows out and slightly back. Long breath out as we lift, and then slowly breathe in as you lower, keeping the ball nice and still. You've got your legs out good and straight. Make sure they are straight, and you're pressing that bum right down into the ball. So as soon as you lift, I want you to open your chest out to the sides, get wide, and think of pushing your heart or your lungs forward out in front of you. A lot of core, belly button pulled in as soon as you start lifting up. Full back extension, a little bit more difficult, stretching those arms straight out when you lift and then slowly back down. Far more belly button to spine, far more core involved than in the first back extension. So take that long breath out as you lift, stretch out and then slowly down. Watch the shoulders, they're going to lift. I recommend for anybody with broader shoulders to take the arms out to 45 degrees rather than so narrow. So get that long line of your back and try not to move the ball. Keep the bum squeezing, keep the legs nice and straight, and then think of growing tall, opening the chest out in front of you, lovely reach, and then coming back down. Shell stretch, taking the hands on top of the ball if possible, pushing the bum right down towards the feet and breathing. We have one more back extension, coming up, circling the arms around, then forward, then down. Lots of coordination here, so you're lifting up, you're reaching back, lifting forward, coming down. Long breath out to lift and reach. Long breath in to come all the way back down. Lots of core. I know I say it often, but especially in back extension, you're pulling the shoulders back, you're lifting the upper back, but you are definitely pulling that core as tight as possible. Remember when you come up, to reach the arms back as close to your bum as you can get them. I have my palms facing down, which is great because you can turn those shoulders open even better with those palms facing down. Placing one foot on the ball, leg nice and straight, rolling part the way back, and then breathing out to come back up. Again, tight lower back. We need a cushion underneath that lower back for support. Belly button is very strong, pulling back towards your spine. If you're struggling with this one, bend the knee and just have the foot on the ball. So you've got the one leg raised and the other leg on the ground. Get the breathing. Inhale at the top. Exhale as you go back. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale as you come forward. If you feel like your leg keeps cramping, remember you can bend that knee anytime. Changing sides. Get that ball right underneath the ankle because otherwise it slips forward at about 3 to 4 reps. Take the long breath out. Pause at the bottom. Take the long breath out to come up. Don't let the shoulders lift. Drop them down the back. And just think of a natural rounding through your lower back as you go down. Both the feet on the ball, stretching the legs out to roll back, slowly bending the knees to bring it in. Okay, a little bit tougher. As you roll back, remember you want the back supported. It's a towel or a cushion. So when you roll back, I want you to think of reaching your legs in opposition and going as straight as possible with your legs. So really pulling up your quads, lengthening out onto the ball, and then slowly bringing the ball back towards you. Same breath, 4 breath. Inhale top, exhale to roll back, inhale at bottom, and then exhale to slowly come back up to seated. Have fun with these. Everybody's favorite. Moving the legs a little bit away from the ball, coming back towards the ball. These are teasers. If you need to bend the knees, you can do that and do exactly the same exercise. If you need to put the feet on the ground with bent knees, you can also do that. Get breathing. Exhale back, inhale up. Exhale back, inhale up. After you collapse from the teaser, we're going on to side lying. So lifting the legs up, squeezing the ball between the ankles and the feet, and then breathing into lower. If you cannot feel whether you're rolling back with the legs, I highly recommend doing this against a wall so that the top hip doesn't roll back. I've got the hand in front of me for a little bit of balance, but it's certainly not a bicep exercise. Remember, this is an oblique exercise. It's a waist exercise. So you want the neck relaxed. You want to stay straight out in front of you with the eyes and breathing out as you lift. Part 2 is lifting and then bending the knees. Okay? As you breathe out, we're going to take those legs back as you bend and then inhale as you go straight. We're not lowering the legs. You are keeping the legs lifted and controlled. Make sure belly button is pulled in. Inhale when you bend. Exhale when you straighten. Think of nice long legs. Don't think of crunching up. Super, super, super tall. And the last part is actually rolling the leg forward and back. We're doing this without moving the hip. So I've placed my hand on the hip to keep the hip still and remind myself that I've got to pull that tummy super strong to get the hip still. If you need a wall behind your back to feel if your bum is still, then do that. Everything on the other side. Clarification, breathing, exhale on the left, inhale on the lower. Okay? No neck, no shoulder, lightly placing that hand in front of you, no tension in the upper body except for the tummy. Give it a try. If you need a wall, put a wall next to you. See what you can do. Just place the hands on, place the knees on. Even if it's 1 second, we've all got to work towards something. Okay, try not to laugh yourself. And you can see my legs shaking. And if you got past stage 1, we can go to stage 2. So see if you can lift those arms. And if you can't go to stage 2, go back to stage 1 and keep practicing. It's all about practicing. It's all about pulling that belly button nice and tight. It doesn't matter if your legs are shaking. My legs are shaking. I'm going to attempt to lift my arms straight up and then slowly bring them back down. I am breathing. Inhale on the lift. And then exhale on the lower. I'm focusing on one spot in front of me and I'm not changing my eyes from that spot at all. I'm not focusing on the ball. I'm actually focusing on what's out in front of me. I'm pulling that tummy as strongly as I can, squeezing my bum, and don't worry about your legs. Look how much mine are shaking. And a little one with a difference. One leg on the ball, other leg out behind. Can you pick that leg up? And then bring it back down. Even if you can pick it up 2 centimeters, perfect. And if you don't feel comfortable with that, that's fine. Just have the big toe on the ground at the back. Same thing. Stare at one spot on the ground. Don't take your eyes off. Belly button pulled up as super tight as you can. And then changing sides. All of this is a lot of fun, but it's very good for stability of the body. Stability and core strength, okay? That's a moving surface you're on. It doesn't matter if the leg is shaking. You can see my leg is still shaking. It's probably shaking more than it was earlier on. Find your balance, find your core. Changing positions, lying over the ball, hips on the ball, belly button on the ball, and ribs on the ball. Arms stretched out in front of you, lifting the legs up, keeping the legs nice and straight, and then slowly back. So the hardest thing about this is not to arch your back, especially the lower back. I want you to imagine a corset around your tummy, and if you cannot lift the legs that high, lift them half the way and then go back down. As long as your legs are as straight as possible, the arms are straight, there's no strain in the neck, and you're trying to keep the ball still. The ball is not going wiggle, 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 side to side, front and back. We're going to add lifting the legs and one arm, and then bringing it back down. Again, if you're not comfortable with this, go back to the first one and just do the legs. Hardest part about this exercise is that the ball will want to move to the side. So I don't mind if you lift one leg and then the other leg, or you lift both legs, or you lift legs and arm at everything at the same time, as long as we're getting the ball to stay in the middle. That is the core strength. Shoulder blades are down the back, reaching the arms out. I'm using my fingertips on the ground so I don't grip the ground. And I'm still lifting my chest up so that I activate my core, and it's this feeling of being light on the ball. Push-ups, leaning forward, bending the elbows and pulling the ball back, okay? Nice regular pace here, leaning forward with the body in a straight line. I bump my chest on the ball and then come back again. Make sure your arms are wide. Make sure your shoulders are wide and your back is straight. Take your bum with you. Leg stretch on each side before we go to more push-ups. Make sure that ball stays still. A little bit of a flex in the ankle. One foot on the ball, leaning into it. Between 20 to 30 seconds is great. And then just slowly changing sides, placing the hands on the ball, leaning into it. Neck can go even more relaxed than what I'm doing. I think I'm looking at my toenails. All right, we're going to pull that ball underneath you. on elbows, shoulders back. We're going to slowly take it out straight, one long line. We're going to breathe out to tuck the neck, look at the ball, and then we're going to slowly take it back. Everybody can do these. You've got to lean a little bit more into the ball and then breathe out. Shoulder stretch, one hand reaching back to the other hand. If you cannot grab the hands together, then what you can do is just place the one hand behind the back and the other hand on top of that arm. So the other option is to hold a band, a TheraBand, between the one hand and the other hand, and just to pull that arm back towards the spine. I would recommend doing these a couple of times, just getting the chest open, getting the shoulders open, nice and loose. Spine stretch forward, rolling the ball back, straightening the legs, and then bending the legs and sitting up tall. Exhale as we reach it forward, arms straight. Inhale as we bend the knees and bring it back. When you reach the ball back, don't reach it so far back that you fall off. All right, so when you start this exercise, get the bum slightly forward of the ball and then just lengthen those knees. I want you to try and straighten your back, not round it. So I want you to think of reaching forward. It's a flat spine stretch forward and then breathing out to come back and sit up nice and tall. The last series is push-ups. Let's see what you can do. Bent knees, feet facing the sky, elbows wide, hands wide. Inhale on the down, exhale on the up. And let's straighten the legs so the ball is underneath the thighs. I'm doing 3. I did 3 in the first one. Breathing in, breathing out to lift. And whatever you need to do, modify. Always modify. I've got the ball further down towards my toes now. These are more difficult as I'm bending and as I'm straightening. And I'm definitely keeping my breathing going. Oh, tough one. Hands on the ball. Straight legs. You can go back to version 1 if you want and carry on and do version 1 at 15 or 20 repetitions. Yay, staggered arms. Breathing in to bend and then breathing out to straighten it. I've got one arm in front of the other arm, slightly turned to the one side and keeping the ball nice and still. Remember, the legs need to come up when you go down. I've moved the hands closer. I've turned them out a little bit. That's it. Shoulders are back. I'm going to bend, pull the ball, then lengthen out. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling the ball and bending at the same time and then straightening and stretching the ball out behind. Lovely version. I love this. One leg down, one leg on the ball. Lightly touch the ground with the one foot. Enjoy a lovely shoulder stretch to end. Get the breathing regular, nice long inhale, lovely long exhale, and when you're ready, roll back up. I hope you enjoyed it. Join me every week on Zoom classes live. Have a look at Instagram, have a look at YouTube, and subscribe. Bye.